RBB Morning Show, the coach, mentor, marketing, and social media strategist you need each and every morning. RBB, a live morning talk show that gives you the ability to get the coach you need, strategist you wish you could afford, social media manager and strategist, marketing strategist, project manager, certified OBM, VA, business startup strategist, profit strategist, web strategist, email funnel strategist, sales page strategist, PR strategist, time management, mindset, and overall business development strategist. We answer it all. With over 25 years of business experience, both in corporate and small business worlds, we really can answer it all. Hello, everybody. Remember, I said today would be a little bit of a different show. We are pre-recording this. This is actually the day before, Thursday morning, that we are recording this for Friday. But I have with me Nikandra Moran from Exceptional Tax Services. And she is my savior when it comes to everything, any tax question I have. So she is going to share with us some things that we need to know about taxes and bookkeeping, finances, the importance of planning all of that, because you want your taxes at the end of the year to go well. If you haven't been planning that already, you need to do it now, let me tell you. And you also want to set yourself up for success in 2020. So we are going to share some links to Nikandra's website and to a freebie she has that is amazing. And just make sure you check her out at some point. I swear she's amazing. And she works with women specifically like us that have online businesses. She really understands all the weirdness that goes with that, because it is very different than owning a brick and mortar, but she also can help with that. So, and I think she does taxes for a couple people on our team. So over here at Be Boss Girl. So I refer people to her all the time. Welcome, Nikandra. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Danielle. I'm so happy to be here. Yay.
So if you have any questions, because this is a pre-recorded show, still pop your questions in as you have them. And Nikandra and I will come back in and make sure we answer them later on Friday. Once Nikandra has her little ones off to school, she can hop in and answer any questions y'all may have. So Nikandra, explain what people should be doing and worrying about with their taxes, especially when it comes to Q4. They should have been prepping all year already for their taxes, but what are some things that they can do to catch up and get on top of it before they spend 900,000 hours in frustration doing them at the end of the year?
Well, yes. Ideally, you'd like to plan everything during the year, but that doesn't always happen. Things, happen during the year that prevent you from putting off any tax or bookkeeping related things, mostly towards the end of the year. And if you're that business owner, this advice will be really good for you. The first thing that I would probably ask or some advice to consider is if you think that your business made enough money during the year to actually be liable for estimated tax payments. So that would be probably one of the biggest things that you would want to consider as Q4 is closing, because of course, after the end of the year, tax season starts. So because you're self-employed, the idea of estimated tax payments is a pay-as-you-go type system. So the IRS expects you to pay all of your taxes during the tax year so that when you do file, with your due date being in April, then you don't actually owe because you prepaid it during the 4 quarters of your estimated tax payments. So I would say that would be the first thing to actually consider in Q4 is, do you think you made enough in your business to be liable for estimated tax payments, and what catch-up things or things that you delayed that you know that you need to get done before the year is up.
So what happens if you did make enough money but didn't pay the taxes quarterly?
Well, I would ask if you can pay them. So right now, if you're in Q4 and you realize that you are probably liable to be paying estimated tax payments for this year, but you did not pay any, I would try to make a Q4 estimated tax payment, and those payments are due in January. So if you can make a Q4 payment, that would be great, because essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to reduce the amount of penalties and interest that would accrue on that balance once you file the tax return. So if you don't pay into your estimated tax payments and you end up owing over a certain amount, the IRS will issue you a penalty for not making adequate estimated tax payments. So even if you can make a small amount or something that may not be the entire amount, but you could maybe send in whatever you can, I think that that would still be, advantageous for your business, because it would reduce the amount that would be accumulating on the balance as far as like the penalties and interest.
Thank you. So what are some, when you're starting your business, growing your business, what are some quick bookkeeping tips that will keep you from having the panic attack at the end of the year? What are some things that you could be doing weekly, monthly to keep on top of everything?
I think I always advise new business owners to really try to set up some type of system. And we all have different types of habits in our life. And I think that bookkeeping for your business is a very good habit to try to create, because as your business grows, you'll thank yourself in the future for setting up that type of system when you first start your business. So my advice would be to try to set up any type of system that you can that's good for your type of learning style. So if you're good with spreadsheets, if you want to use an actual accounting software, first figure out what you want to do as far as how you plan to keep up with your books, how you plan to keep up with the income and the expenses that are coming in from your business. And then also you want to try to figure out, how often do you want to actually do it? Are you going to plan on keeping up with it weekly, monthly? I would suggest for sure monthly. It should be something that you'd want to look at just to make sure that you're caught up. And then by the time that the end of the year, rolls around, you'll have a lot of that already together, and that will prevent a ton of stress when it comes to filing your tax return.
Yes, it will. I've been doing this for 25 years, and let me tell you, having a system, and even if your system is you're throwing everything in exactly the same space every year, and I have done this more than once, so don't do this, let me tell you this, but just a file folder, you're throwing every receipt, every single thing into, and printing things off. Don't just rely on keeping things in your email box. Print off those receipts for online things so that everything is in one place. One spot is the huge thing. Now, I use Stride Tax, which is an app on my cell phone, and every receipt goes into Stride Tax. I don't track my income in Stride Tax. I do track my mileage in there, but then all of my receipts are in the same place, whether I get them via email or I've gotten them like physically gotten a receipt somewhere, and then they're all in one place. So they make it so much easier to sort and deal with and just have. Even if you're going to do nothing else, that is one huge piece of advice I got from somebody 20 something years ago. And it's even if I haven't done anything else, that right there will save you a bazillion hours. Of course, you then got to sit down and put them in a spreadsheet or do something with them eventually before you do your taxes. But at least have all your receipts in one place, because otherwise you're going to miss expenses. And therefore, your tax burden is a little higher. So don't miss your expenses.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is a good one to use. You could use Google Drive if you do end up having an accounting software. Some of them actually have, you can download an app where they have a camera feature and you can keep them there. But absolutely, if you can just create a system that works for you to keep track of your receipts and all of your expenses, that would be the first and most important step in the success of keeping up with your bookkeeping for your business.
And invoice your clients, people. I had this conversation with a business owner the other day. She's like, I'm out of money. And I'm like, wow. So you're invoicing not doing very well. Well, I didn't invoice for the last 2 months. Well, there might be a reason why you don't have your money.
Yeah.
Invoice your clients. I mean, that one's a really simple one, but invoice your clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what are some of your favorite invoice systems that you've used?
Well, a popular one is, of course, any type of accounting software such as QuickBooks, Wave, Xero. FreshBooks is another one. All of those are ways that you can invoice your clients. And then also, because it's an accounting software, you can also keep up of everything else. PayPal is also one that a lot of people can use to actually initiate and receive payments, but the most popular ones have been the ones that also have the accounting software inside of it. So a QuickBooks, a Xero, a Wave, a FreshBooks, for example. Those are all going to be really good softwares that you can use to invoice and receive payments.
So we had one question coming in. I asked my team if they had any questions ahead of time. And and the only question we had is, what are some specific steps to improve your cash flow?
Well, as you pointed out, as far as invoicing clients, that would be an extremely great way of increasing your cash flow. And then, especially if you're in the business of doing long-term projects, let's say you are a web designer, or you're someone who works on very extended projects where you work with the client for more than a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months. Instead of invoicing at the end, maybe consider doing a retainer at the beginning, or create a better invoicing system so that increases your cash flow more evenly during the months. So I find that a lot of the clients that I run into that do have cash flow problems more so have a problem with how they're actually invoicing people. Make sure you're doing electronic payments, try to make it more efficient. That would also be a good suggestion as well. Let me think. I think some other ways would be to consider pricing differently. So like, depending on the type of business that you're in, is it something that could possibly be, I don't know, a subscription? Is it something that could possibly be something that you could price monthly? So a lot of cash flow problems that I run into are people who have accounts receivable, they have money that's coming in, but they have to wait until they actually render the service, or it's taken a very long time due to the type of contract. And if you modify some of those things, have them pay you monthly, or have, half upfront, half at the end of completion, or even any kind of tweak that you can, I think that those would also help in improving your cash flow.
All of that very true. Okay, so how do you reduce some of your bank fees?
I think reducing some of the bank fees is first, are you talking about an actual bank account, or are you mostly talking about merchant fees? So if you're talking about the bank account, okay, so if you're talking about the merchant fees, unfortunately in our world, especially as virtual or people who work online, digital entrepreneurs, that is a very common question. And it's not it's not the best answer, but it's just sometimes so hard to get away from fees of getting paid electronically, because that's, unfortunately, the cost of doing services when you work online. You do have to pay a fee to the merchant that you're using to receive the money timely. But you can also consider getting paid via ACH. So instead of you being paid from a credit card, you can choose for them to pay you, with their routing number and their account number, and that will not only reduce the amount of the fee that's being taken out, but you're still being paid, electronically, which to me is still a plus. So I would think that those two things would probably be the best, is to consider maybe switching to ACH so that the bank fee, the merchant fee won't be as high. It's a smaller percentage, I know for sure.
It's one of those, I always look at it, and people ask me that question all the time, but what's the cheapest way to not have credit card fees? I want to use credit cards. Well, you're going to have them. There's nothing you can do to get away from them, but they're a write-off. I don't care.
Yeah, they are. And it's the cost of doing business. I mean, you have to think a lot of us were able to work from the comfort of our home. We're able to be free to travel and do the things we want to do with having the flexibility of also being able to work and do the things that we love on our own time. So when you think about all of that, I mean, that is the cost of doing services when you work online as an online or digital entrepreneur. But you can try the ACH and then they'll take a lesser fee and then that will reduce it if that just seems to be something that you absolutely hate.
So share. Everybody always loves hearing these. So what is one of your worst horror stories of somebody handing everything over to you and you having to do their taxes for them at the end of the year?
Oh my gosh. Well, that's the nature of the business, unfortunately. And I try to have compassion for them, honestly, because
yes, but there's always some horror story. We all have them.
Let's see. Maybe just getting boxes of receipts. I mean, just boxes and piles of receipts of someone who has held on to everything during the year, and then it's a week before the deadline, and here's the stack that they want to give to you. And so essentially, because they have all the receipts, they haven't tallied up anything, which means they have no bookkeeping. Their bookkeeping is that box. That's a nightmare for an accountant. Like, please don't do that to me. Like, that is awful. Like, I don't even know how to contain my professionalism when I see those types of scenarios. But yes, it happens. Yeah. Or try to tally it up. You know, at this point, we're in such modern times, and I mean, even if you put it in an Excel spreadsheet, but I mean, you do have some of the more, you know, old school business owners who do just consider their bookkeeping that box of receipts. And unfortunately, it's not. I mean, it has to be put together. It has to be tallied up. All of that has to be done before I can even prepare the tax return. So that's additional time that you have to spend, going through all of those receipts. That is a nightmare for me. Yes. Like just thinking about it makes me cringe.
So I've done that to myself a couple times, and it's a nightmare for me, and I did it to myself. So I get
that's probably the biggest nightmare. I think if any accountant had a story, it would be receiving some pile of paper that will take a large amount of time to go through in order for them to prepare the return.
So the point is plan ahead. I mean, everything that we've talked about all week long is plan ahead. Plan, because when you do that, you're planning yourself for success. And
Absolutely.
Once all of that is set up and you've got your accounting system set up and your receipt system set up, whatever that is, your next year will be that much more successful and less disorganized. And less disorganization is huge for all of us.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of people seem to take taxes really serious, but they don't take bookkeeping really serious. And what you really have to understand is that bookkeeping and taxes they're siblings. It flows through to the other. So what you do with your bookkeeping is simply just a transfer to your tax return. So bookkeeping is really essential for the success of the finances side to your business, because if you set it up for success, you can maximize your deductions because you're keeping track of it every month. You're not missing anything. Everything is there because you're accounting for it. You are keeping an account for it. So I just think that a lot of people should not only take, taxes serious as they do, but they should really also take the bookkeeping side serious. Really try to set yourself up for success by setting up a system, like start now, like just every month I'm going to get this done. Put it in your calendar if you have to. Whatever your style of keeping yourself accountable, do that. Even if it's 20 minutes a week where you just go through and reconcile or gather everything, that will help a ton in creating that habit. Because when you're in business for yourself, you want to be successful. You want your business to make it. So you want to implant that seed in the beginning of success. And the bookkeeping is the money side. So you want to make sure that you set it up legitimately in the right way, so that as your business grows, you're organized and, taxes are not a pain.
If you are organized throughout the year, the big thing is I already know that what I'm going to owe at the end of the year, because I've gone through that process all year long. I've kept track of my receipts. I've kept track of I know what my profit is versus my loss. And I also know how to play the game of, oh, my profit is a heck of a lot higher than my losses right now. I want to, my computer's almost dead. I should buy my laptop before the end of the year so that I have that as an expense this year. All of those things make what you're paying into the government. It really lets you play the profit versus loss game.
And it helps you to really strategically tax plan so that you're being proactive and not reactive.
So if you have any more questions, please put them in the chat, even though this is pre-recorded. We definitely want to hear more from you. And if you have questions, that's what Nikandra is here for. I'm hoping that we could talk Nikandra into coming over and joining us on the forum. And
I'd love that. Thank you. No, I would.
We want to social media proof everybody's business, so we want to do that for Nikandra too. And then she'll be joining us over there, and you can ask questions and really get the help you need. She also is amazing, and compared to every other CPA I have ever spoken to, her packages are far cheaper than a lot of people. And she truly understands our online business world, which not many do. You can't go to your traditional CPA that's been in office for 80 years down the road. He's not going to understand, take my word for it, because that's what I used to do. And 25 years ago, I worked online and he really didn't understand. So make sure that you reach out to somebody that truly understands your business model. And Nikandra is that. And I can't speak any more highly of her. And I know Gina feels the same way. And Bethany Hill feels the same way. And a million others online. We all are very happy with using Nikandra. So thank you for joining us today, Nikandra.
Thank you for having me, Danielle. I appreciate it so much.
Remember to rise, become, and be everything you can. Remember to get organized. This whole entire week has been about planning this last quarter of 2019, the last quarter of the century, and plan so your 2020 is super, super active and successful, and will just set you up for so much success and be amazing. Have a great day, everybody, and we will talk to you later. I will put the links for reaching out to Nikandra in the chat. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
RBB Morning Show, the coach, mentor, marketing, and social media strategist you need each and every morning.